Good afternoon and welcome to 3 o'clock with SAC. Give me a second while I welcome our Spanish-speaking neighbors. Buenas tardes. Gracias por estar con nosotros en 3 p.m. con SAC. Ustedes que quieren acceso al programa en español, por favor, marquen el número 425-436-6200. 425-436-6200, el número que aparece en pantalla. Cuando contestan la llamada, por favor, comparten el clave o el contraseña que aparece empezando con el número 6, que es 627-682. Welcome this Thursday, April 30th to 3 o'clock with SAC. This is our 1 month of being online with you with this Facebook Live, bringing you information on the coronavirus, on the elections, voting, the census, key programs and services that we offer, and being able to be with you here virtually since we can't be with you quite yet in person as we generally are. We haven't missed a day. We continue to be here with you since this pandemic started in the Safer at Home order. And you can reach us in all the same ways that you usually do, with the exception of in person at this time. You can call us at 672-8090, 672-8090. You can email us at soc@socmilwaukee.org, and you can connect with us here on our Facebook Live, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We are here for you. Today, we have a special edition, as is turning into our new tradition here at the forum, of having guests, our leadership of our legacy leaders in grassroots organizing, our elected officials and authorities, bringing you direct information from original sources so that you understand what's happening and what's available to you. My name is Tammy Rivera. I'm the Executive Director and Lead Organizer for Southside Organizing Center, or SOC, or SOC, if you've been around for a while. Today on our forum, we have the newly elected alderperson joining us, Jocasta Samaripa. Before we bring her on, I want to have you all be reminded that you can enter into our daily drawing for a $25 gift certificate by filling out our survey. We are getting the number of surveys that you all are turning in are increasing, so we're happy about that, but we still need a little more cooperation with that. I want to let you know you want to be back with us tomorrow because Alderman Jose Perez will be with us in the program. There goes the SurveyMonkey link, and you can see it as well in the comment section or our webpage if you don't catch it as it appears there on the screen. Tomorrow, Alderman Perez is going to be with us. Today, it's Alderman Samaripa, so the south side is pretty much covered. There are a couple of small pieces of the south side covered by a few other alder people, but the majority of the south side district is being covered both today and tomorrow by your alderpersons. And then you don't want to miss next week and the week following. We have Congresswoman Moore, who's going to join us, and she often is committed to the forums that SOC has traditionally done, and we're glad she's going to be with us in this new venue. And we'll have Rob Smith, the chair of the County Human Rights Commission, with us as well. We have several other folks who have committed to being here with you. We just haven't figured out schedules quite yet. So with that said, I'd like to invite our newly elected alderperson, Jocasta Samaripa, to join us today. Hola, Joy.
Hola, Tammy. Thank you so much to SAC for inviting me to be a part of your virtual community forum today.
We appreciate it, and we know that you've had a long partnership with SOC, and you've been to the other forums that we've had. So we're very happy that you're here, and also happy to share new history that you were part of here in the city, which is you're the first Latina elected to the Common Council. And
Yeah.
so we congratulate you, and we're very proud of our community for that. And also, it's the first time the Common Council has had the number of women on it at one time that it does now.
Yes, no, it's a historic moment for the city. As you just mentioned, we've never had this many women serving in the Milwaukee Common Council, so I'm honored to be a part of that history making. I'm honored to finally make sure that we have Latina representation. Of course, we have had Latino men serving for quite a while in the Common Council. We currently have Alderman Jose Perez holding it down, who's done an excellent job representing the Near South Side, but we have never had that mujer, Latina mujer, voice in the Common Council, and we now will. And I'm also honored, of course, to be the first out openly LGBTQ member of the Common Council. For many years, I helped efforts in trying to elect an out candidate to the Common Council, and we just were not successful. Finally, we did it in 2020, so I'm very honored and proud.
That's right. Thank you for sharing that as well. And so we can't see our folks in person, Alderwoman, as we have in the past. So we have converted the forums to this virtual world. And so here we are, but we're going to keep our tradition going of bringing folks accurate information from trusted sources and giving them access to those folks who can make a difference in the community. So how about we just start, talk about your role as an alderwoman, your district, so folks understand where you fit in. This was the seat formerly held by Alderman Donovan for an extended period of time. So you want to talk just a little bit about your district and the role of an alder person. And I happen to live in the district, so I
Yeah.
am especially listening.
Very good. Yeah, I knocked on your door, if you recall,
right.
not too long ago, asking for your vote. But this is part of the Near South Side, as you said so well. The Near South Side is really, although there's other South Side alders, the Near South Side is encompassed really by the 8th Aldermanic, which is a district I was just elected to represent, as well as the 12th Aldermanic right next door that Alderman Jose Perez represents. So this is the area from about South First Street on the east end. Is the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about my assembly district because I'm also still the state representative in the assembly.
Oh, that's right.
Near South Side for the time being. But the 8th Aldermanic actually begins at about South 19th Street on the east end, and it goes all the way till about almost Miller Parkway. On the west end of the district. And so it's very, like the 12th Aldermanic, it is very near South Side, and it's very densely populated, and it's home to arguably the most diverse constituency in the great state of Wisconsin. 75% people of color reside in the 8th Aldermanic District, with a majority Latino representation at 65%. And then a growing African American presence and Southeast Asian community as well. And then, of course, we still have our many of our old school German and Polish South that have been there for generations. So it's a very unique, culturally diverse area of the state and the city, and I'm so honored to represent us.
And I grew up in this neighborhood too, so I can attest to that diversity and the richness of growing up on the Near South Side, despite the unfortunate claim that we have as the most segregated metropolitan area, or sometimes we move down to second place in that. The South Side can feel really proud about the amount of diversity that we have amongst the state as a whole. Let's start with a key topic, Alderwoman, that is so prevalent on folks' mind, which is COVID-19 or coronavirus. I know you shared with me some resources, but let's talk about that for a bit, and then we can move on to the spring election thoughts.
Yes, certainly it has been, as you know, an experience that none of us have ever had to endure, living in this pandemic, dealing with COVID-19, dealing with the coronavirus. It certainly limited my contact with constituents on the campaign trail, which I know you want to talk a little bit about that. And of course, we have to do things like this, where SAC is holding virtual community forums, whereas usually you're very much on the ground, in the field, in the community, bringing us together in some physical space to meet with elected officials and city leaders and the like. And so to not be able to do that, it is frustrating, as we all try to stay safer at home and as much as possible. And yet what we can do is the things that SAC is actually doing right now. We're still trying to be a resource to the community, but in a much different way than we have in the past. I'm still having to talk with folks and meet with folks on the daily, but it's happening via telephone or via Zoom call. And of course, wanting to push those resources out to the community on how they can go in and access testing and access healthcare, even if they're uninsured or don't have the money to pay.
And so you shared with me earlier a new announcement from the city. Do
Yes.
you want to share that, or you want to share some of that, or you want me?
Can you put it on a split screen, Tammy? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, we don't have it on the split screen.
Okay. Okay.
We're moving our software. Like, this software hasn't served us quite well yet, so we're trying to figure out the virtual of it. So do you want to share some of these things? You want me to share some of them?
Sure. Well, no, I can share. Certainly, we're telling folks to make sure that you access our South Side community health centers. So on the South Side, we have 16th Street Community Health Center, which does such a fabulous job serving our constituents. And we also have the Gerald Ignace Indian Health Center on Mitchell Street. They have that new wonderful facility on Mitchell Street. You can access both of those locations and ask to be tested for COVID-19. The flyer, and I'm sure you and I will both push it out on Facebook, Tammy, after this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. The flyer absolutely says make sure to call ahead so you can schedule an appointment. They do want to know whether or not you are having symptoms. They're still trying to prioritize folks in that way, so that they get those folks tested who are showing those symptoms. But also, I have a news flash. I think we sent this to you too as well, Tammy, but it might have been more last minute. Walgreens is joining the effort to offer free COVID-19 testing, coronavirus testing, on the South Side at the South 6th Street in Oklahoma location. You know that Walgreens on 6th and Oklahoma. And tomorrow is the first day, if I'm not mistaken. I also sent you that flyer, and we'll push it out, both of us, I'm sure, on Facebook. But they want you to go online and fill out an initial initial questionnaire, and then you'll get scheduled for a drive-through COVID testing. And the link is walgreens.com/COVID-19 testing. But we'll throw that up as well online on Facebook, as I said, after we're done with this virtual forum. But that's going to be 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. certainly during the week. I'm not sure yet around the weekend, but I believe it's going to be Monday through Friday for certain, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Free COVID
that's
testing.
good to hear. That's really good to hear that folks have more opportunities to get their concerns responded to in terms of testing and also treatment. I had forwarded it immediately, so it'll definitely be on our webpage. We'll definitely get it out during social media, because that's at the top of everybody's concern. Yes, is their health. So that's a good resource. Any other thoughts you want to respond to in terms of COVID, whether at the state level, because you're doing double duty here as a state rep, or at the municipal level before we talk about the elections?
Just the need to, and I'm constantly advocating at the state level as well as now at the city level, to make sure that we're pushing out information bilingually in English and Spanish. And also, in fact, I'm going to be reaching out to some of our Southeast Asian serving organizations around what's the best way to communicate with this community as well. I get very concerned about our community, which, as you mentioned, is so rich and diverse. But we also have to make sure that we're communicating to folks effectively. And I have seen anecdotally, just even if it's just a brief delay in getting information out bilingually or in Spanish, I mean, that delay can be, as we know with COVID, it can be detrimental because folks need to have that information. And so I've been advocating to make sure that folks can access this information easily so that they know what they can do to stay safer at home and to keep themselves and their families safe. Just that simple thing that is communication is so paramount right now more than ever.
Yeah, and we got this flyer that you sent us, that you forwarded, and it's in English and Spanish. So I agree, things are starting to come out in more languages, although there was a lag. We're starting to see that now. Let's switch topics now. The spring election took place despite the risk to the coronavirus, despite the safer at home order. What are your thoughts on what took place and how we can move to the fall election with more protection for voters' rights?
Well, I think the fact that the election, and of course I was victorious, so I feel really grateful. I did not in the end think that we could pull through because of the number of polling locations. All of the polling locations in our district were closed, and our voters had to go for the 8th aldermanic, had to go to Hamilton, which is at 10 minutes away from the district if you're lucky. That's on like the far west, if you were coming from the west part of the district. And so I found it very problematic. I heard anecdotally on election day from some of my supporters who called me and said, I tried to cast my vote. I wanted to cast my vote for you, and I could not do it. And so it was heartbreaking. I'm upset still that it occurred. I believe wholeheartedly that all the blame lies at the feet of the Republican majority that continue to control both the legislature and, frankly, the state Supreme Court. It was done purely to have an electoral advantage, which is so cynical and so disgusting. And so when I try to really pinpoint the villain here, it is Representative Robin Vos, who is the Speaker of the Assembly. He led the effort to force in-person voting on April 7th, simply because he thought it was going to give him an electoral advantage in ensuring that their conservative state Supreme Court Justice incumbent, Dan Kelly, would retain his seat. The beauty of it is that he was wrong and they lost. And so Jill Karofsky won that statewide election for a Supreme Court Justice. And yet to what extent, we still don't truly know what the outcome is going to be of forcing people to go and vote on election day. And people did. They turned out and they voted. And your heart breaks to think about it. And yet at the same time, it's very uplifting to know that people were going to be damned if their vote was suppressed.
Yeah, we were just talking about it on a show that I just taped that'll be coming out, Living with History, about my main point that I wanted to get across is that folks all across the state, Wisconsinites, saw that partisan politics superseded people's voting rights, like the coveted, the treasured, the valued right here, democracy in America. And we have to insist on people winning elections based on earned vote of their ideas, their values, the work, and the plan that they have to set forth. And so regardless of party, it was clear that people were willing to put across both party lines. Like it didn't matter. It rings true with the soul that was wrong. And I hope this is an awakening to every individual, from the farmer to the small businessman, to the large businessman, to the teacher, to the union member, to say like this was unacceptable. And so hopefully we what are you wanting to see take place for a protected fall election?
Sure. One of the first things that we did, that we voted for when we were sworn in last week to the Common Council is pass a piece of legislation introduced by Alderwoman Marina Dimitrievich, that we call the Safe Vote Program. it will automatically send applications to request an absentee ballot by mail to all of our registered voters in the city of Milwaukee. This is a first step only, because we don't just want the usual registered voters, right? We always want to grow the vote. We always want to try to increase the voter turnout. But this is one thing that we can do. So many voters in the city of Milwaukee on April 7th hadn't requested their absentee ballot by mail in time, or they had requested it and it didn't arrive in time for them to vote. And so Marina took this step to make sure that folks, registered voters, will get that application to fill out and request an absentee ballot by mail. This is just a first step. I think that we need to push, and all of us, whether it's myself as an elected official, a politician, SAC as a nonprofit committed to civic engagement, the parties, be they Republican or Democrat, need to invest in making sure that we're out there early, getting our people registered online. It is fairly easy to register online. We just got to make sure we do it in a timely fashion and get people doing it early so that they're prepared and to receive their ballots for the fall election. But there really has to be a push for absentee ballots by mail. We could also, of course, as a legislature, do something to make it easier for our constituents and hold the election entirely by mail like some other states do. There are other states in our country that do their entire election is by mail. But with, again, this Republican-controlled legislature, it is difficult to impossible to get things through the legislature that will make civic engagement and voting easier for Wisconsinites. Desafortunadamente, unfortunately. So we have to do everything we can as stakeholders in the community, as I said, myself, SAC, and others, to get folks registered early. Like we have to start now.
It's true. Civic engagement is really a 365-day commitment. It's not just an election, and I'm glad that folks are realizing that and investing in that. How about let's talk about? Go ahead, Alderwoman.
I was just going to mention that in a way, not that I would ever call this pandemic we're having to endure a blessing, but the silver lining. Oftentimes, and I know you've heard this, Tammy, and you may have even lamented about this to me, and that is the parties coming in at the 11th hour to do organizing in our community to try to get our vote. And so the silver lining here could be that you can't do that anymore, not in this pandemic. We got to make sure our people are registered, are knowing who the candidates are getting ready to request that absentee ballot by mail. And this will force the parties, see, if they want our vote, if these candidates want to win our support, then you better get out there early and let these voters know we're the ones you want to support.
Exactly. And hopefully we'll see some different accountability all across the state, because everybody was impacted by that decision. What are some of the things, we only have a few minutes here, what do you want to leave with the residents, some of the things you want to be looking forward to accomplishing in your new role as the alderwoman of the district?
Well, thank you for that question. I remember right before I was going to get sworn in, the Journal Sentinel called and said, and what legislation are you working on to get passed? Marina had put forward the safe vote and was already circulating that for co-sponsorship. And I said, you know what? For me right now, I want to be so focused on excellent constituent services for our district, and I'm sure for every district in our city. The first thing that's on people's minds is public safety. Are they safe in their neighborhood? Are they safe in their home? Are you taking care of the potholes? Are you picking up the garbage? Are you making sure the snow is clean on my street so I can park safely? Those are the things that I want to make sure that I am very attentive to. And in many ways, my predecessor was strong in many neighborhoods in the district, but maybe not so strong in all of the neighborhoods. I want to make sure to fill in those gaps and continue the service where it was strong. I want to make sure that my community, no matter what ethnicity or race they hail from or economic status, that I am a resource for them, that I'm going to advocate for the least among us. And I believe that making sure that I offer those excellent services will lead to increased civic engagement and ultimately to my life's work, my goal that I have to increase the voter turnout on the near south side of the city of Milwaukee.
Great. And how can folks get a hold of you or your office?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that, so I made sure to have my phone number ready. I'm here at your service, a sus órdenes, as we say in Spanish. And you can contact me by phone at 414-286-3533. That's 414-286-3533. Or my email, which I hope I get this right. We just got the business cards done. It's jocasta.samarripa@milwaukee.gov. And I'll put that out on Facebook and give it to you, Tammy, too, so you can, because I know it's a mouthful, but again, jocasta.samarripa@milwaukee.gov.
We'll make sure to share it on this Facebook Live. Let me take a quick look here so we can say some hellos and see if we have any questions. Jetty Carr is with us. Hello, Jetty. Yolanda Ramirez is with us.
Hi, Jetty.
Maricano is with us. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Alderwoman. All our best to you, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you, Zach.
Adios. We're appreciative of our representatives sharing their time with us and being here for our residents. What we'd like to do now is give you a coronavirus update. And while they do that, I'm going to try to switch modes here because I'm understanding that I'm not coming completely through. So we have Taylor Herrada, our coronavirus, and also she is our youth coordinator.
Hey everyone, my name is Taylor, the coronavirus coordinator with Southside Organizing Center. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Community Live Forum. Last week we had Ayuda Mutua Milwaukee on our Community Live Forum talking about food access. Just wanted to remind you that they are still accepting donations, and if you are in need of food access, you can, they have food available after 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And that is right behind St. Patrick's Church, located at 1115 South 7th Street. Again, they are accepting donations, as well as if you do need help with food access, you can pick up food from there after 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Wanted to also share with you that Pete's Fruit Market is partnering with Carmen School. So if you or your family needs assistance buying this week's groceries, Pete is sponsoring your next groceries. So if you are a family member or student that goes to Carmen School, just get in contact with your school's office team or the social worker there at Carmen, and they will put you on the list so that next time you shop, your groceries are on them. We do have a lot more food resources that you can access on our website by visiting sacmilwaukee.org. If you go to our coronavirus page, we have an entire area dedicated to food access, where you can take a look at what food pantries are offering free food, and where you can get discounted meals on our website. So again, visit sacmilwaukee.org, where there's a variety of resources on how to get free food. Thanks so much for joining us on today's Community Live Forum for our coronavirus segment. I'm going to pass it back to Tammy. Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Looks like she got cut off a little bit there. Next with us, we have Gabe Charles, our Civic Engagement Manager, giving us a civic update.
Hey everyone. For my segment today, I just want to expand a bit on a portion of what Health Commissioner Jeanette Kowalik shared with us yesterday about COVID-19 cases and the election. So here we are 3 weeks later, and there is still no definitive evidence that the in-person election on April 7th caused a spike in coronavirus spread. This could be due to precautions taken at polling places or from behavior after in-person voting. cell phone data that was analyzed by the University of Wisconsin-Madison shows that the election happened during what is Wisconsin's most compliant period of social distancing, meaning that after the election, most Wisconsin residents rarely left their home and weren't gathering in large numbers. Some health experts say that although there is no confirmed surge, the in-person election may have kept the number of new cases from dropping. So perhaps had we not had this in-person election, we would have been seeing lower numbers instead of consistent numbers. The same researchers who said that there has been no spike in COVID-19 cases due to the election also say that the effect from the election might be hidden in the numbers and difficult, if not impossible, to truly detect. And this is because they're hesitant to attribute any coronavirus cases to the election unless it's clear that somebody had no other potential exposures to infected people. So I assume that people that were voting also had to go to a grocery store that week, also maybe went on a walk that week or to a park. And so they don't want to attribute people that may have been exposed in other ways to the virus to the election. So this is also going to make it more muddy to detect. Regardless of not having a surge, the experts maintain that having an in-person election likely increased the exposure to and the spread of the virus. Health Director Kowalik initially said that 7 people in Milwaukee County may have contracted the virus through voting, but raised that number to 40 late last week. But she said that more research is needed, and she hopes the data will be ready by tomorrow, May 1st. So we're hoping that that data is going to be finalized tomorrow so we can share it with you all. If it isn't ready for us by tomorrow, we will definitely be sharing that out on our forum on Monday. So yeah, again, waiting to see what is to come with that information. For the census segment today, I have 2 new videos for all of you. I am very appreciative of Captain Census and those other tutorial videos, but it's always nice to get some new, fresh information out there to reach folks in a different way. So I have a couple different videos for you all that will play one right after the other, and hoping that it will inspire you all to go and fill out your census. As I have reiterated a number of times on these forums, I'm sure you're all sick of me talking about the census and how important it is. It's very important, so go do it. I will be back here with you all tomorrow for May Day, and am looking forward to talking with all of you again.
You know that park you wish you had and those potholes you want fixed in your street? It takes money to build and fix these, and Washington, D.C. decides who gets it through census numbers. So starting in March, participate in the census. You can do it online, phone it in, or over the mail. And nobody else will have access to your information. Everyone should take the census, even if you're undocumented. For more information, go to WeCountCensus.com.
We are doctors, lawyers, teachers, and students. We are daughters, mothers, tías, and hermanas. We are the product of generations of hard work and sacrifice. We live here. We work here. We will be counted here. Our presence is power.
Thank you, Gabe, for that update. Thank you for those new videos. Especially appreciated seeing the video on Latinas and the census. I was on a show earlier, as I stated, and Dr. Kowalik was also a presenter at that taping. And so what we're hearing here is, right, the differences in opinions between different researchers, because definitely our health department is gathering data in and of itself, and then there's our other bodies of research. And so what we try to do here at SOC is bring to you the information, share who the sources are of that information, so that you can, get through that data and make informed opinions about what you think really is happening or not. Today, what I heard Dr. Kowalik reiterate is that indeed there's a sense of anticipated increase as a result of the election, and that the report will speak to some of those things in detail. Some of the criticisms she shared about that are that it wasn't a traditional research study, because in a traditional research study, you have to have a population, a first population that isn't exposed at all, and then a second. And so we'll continue to bring the data to you all, and you will make an informed decision about what you feel took place, and what are the consequences of that. So thank you for that information again, Gabe. Right now, I'd like to invite Marisol Diaz, our communications manager, to share about our certificate drawing.
Hi, Community Forum, Marisol here. For this week, to enter our $25 gift certificate drawing, there are two ways, and that is to fill out the survey that's located in the comments section, or by taking a census-related photo or screenshot once you've completed it. Those are the two ways. Be sure to do that. Continue to stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. Now let's find out who's today's winner.
Today's winner is Javon Jerome Sr. Javon, give us a call or email us at soc@socmilwaukee.org to claim your gift certificate. And so we are providing a daily, because of a donor, gift certificate, because we know you're going through hard times. We know small businesses are going through hard times, and we have a whole group of small businesses who have supported SOC. And so you'll be able to choose from those businesses who have supported us, or if you know of any businesses in the community who have done an incredible job of supporting during this time, we'll consider to add them on the list as well. I want to remind you that tomorrow Alderman Perez is going to be on with us, and he's going to give some information and encouragement to workers about what's appropriate in terms of employers and the coronavirus compliance, in addition to other information. So we're looking forward to having him with us. And then want to remind you, you don't want to miss next week. We'll have Congresswoman Moore with us, and Rob Smith, and some other folks from the county's Human Rights Commission. We're glad that you were with us today, and we ask that you be safe, and we'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock with SOC. And now we'll be sharing some thank yous for our funding partners.
Thank you to our sponsor, Wisconsin Voice, Community Development Block Grant, Neo Philanthropy State Infrastructure Fund, Mudmin Board Project, Catholic Campaign for Human Development, Silver Foundation, City of Milwaukee Office of Violence Prevention, Ties Foundation, City of Milwaukee Promised Son, all the faithful individuals who support SAC through the personal donation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.